Hey everyone, it's your girl Jay.
And I'm Kendra, and you're watching MoodSwings the Podcast.
Hey girl, hey.
Hey, how are
I have
you?
not spoken to you since, well, I mean, we've spoken, but we haven't
Yeah,
got a chance to actually really get together since my birthday party, which was
yes.
Munzo. I don't even know what I just said. Munzo. I'm just a rapper. But I am super excited to talk to you because I missed you. And you know what? We're really behind on our podcast. So I just
We are
want
so
to
behind.
yes, a shout out to our faithful listeners who actually reach out to us and see, hey, what's going on? When's the next one happening? It's just was a lot of shit going on between me and Kay in these last 2 weeks with my birthday and her flying back and forth from the Bay to Vegas. It was a lot that we had.
That's
Now,
a
we do
lot.
actually have a bonus reel that we will be putting out as well, which we did record during my birthday. Both of us were litty like a titty, so I think it's gonna be a funny one, but it's gonna be it's because and it was and I really enjoyed that one because she had trivia for me for my birthday, and so it was just like straight shot. You ask a question, I gotta go just come at with it. So we will go ahead and put that bonus footage out there because there are some really good pieces. But we did kind of go all over the place because we actually had people
We had a
in our
studio
studio.
audience.
Yes, we had a studio audience, and so and they got a little rambunctious. So a lot of the audio was kind of meshed together. So but we were able to get a good amount to share with you guys, and I think you guys
Yeah,
fully enjoy it.
yeah,
So
that was a fun show.
yes, but now we are back on a regular format. Kay's in the Bay. I'm back in Vegas, and we will be continuing on here. Now we do have one question though before we start the show. Do you guys like to continue to see us? Because we work really hard to try and get the visuals up on YouTube, but we really focus on getting the audio up and running on all platforms. But if you do
Mhm.
want to see us, please let us know. We will try our best to continue to have ourselves on camera so that you can enjoy the podcast visually as well.
Girl, we're cute. You know they're gonna want to see us.
Yeah, they gotta
I
want to
mean,
exactly. Yes. Yes. So I called Kay before the show and I asked her, "Oh, what are you gonna drink? I gotta be all fancy with you too." And she said, "Oh, girl, I'm just gonna drink some wine." And I went, "Well, damn it, I'm gonna drink some wine too because I'm fancy, pinky up as well." But my wine is a little different. It's very clear as you can see, but
that's water.
it is a Japanese wine. It is Jinro Peach. So it is at 13%. So I think I will be able to hold a really good conversation tonight. What about you, Kay? What are you drinking?
So I opened up a bottle of wine last night when I was making dinner. I opened up a bottle of Pinot Grigio.
Mhm.
It's nothing fancy. It's legit Kirkland. It is legit Costco Kirkland Pinot Grigio, but I love it. It's really good. Anyway, so
Hey,
I opened up a bottle of that last night. And, I don't want it to go bad. You got to drink it pretty quickly. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to drink another glass of wine tonight. And it's delicious. So that's what I'm
now
doing.
I did want to ask you in regards to your wine. You are more of a oaky,
Hmm.
I would say dry, not too sweet. You don't like too sweet, right?
I like white wines. I don't
White
like
wine.
them sweet at all. You won't catch me with a Moscato or a Riesling or any of that bullshit. I like a Pinot Grigio when it's warmer out. It's nice and crisp. I do like a Sauvignon Blanc every now and then, but it gets you right here. It's a little too crisp. But
Mm-hmm.
my go-to all the time is a really oaky Chardonnay. The oakier, the better. I love it
Nice.
more than a buttery one.
But you're not a fan of.
I mean, I will if red is all you got, I'll drink it. I mean, I'll drink I don't like those real big cabs, like those real robust Cabernets. Like that's
Mhm.
not my thing. If I have to drink a red, it'll be maybe a red
Oh,
blend
I guess
if
I
I
have to.
had to.
Don't threaten
Yeah.
me with a good time.
Yeah. Yeah. My girl T, she loves a red wine. And if you give her a white wine, she's going to get a straight attitude. She loves a red and she
Really?
drinks those big reds. Yeah. I'm not a, mm-mm. If I'm going to drink a red, it's going to be a blend and it's going to be,
Well, my husband loves a good red, so much so that his teeth are like when he's drinking, that
hmm
wine can really stain your teeth. And so
yeah.
I try and stay away from, well, first of all, I just stay away from any type of flavored drinks anyway. So it's much easier for me. So I don't think I'll be doing anything wrong with this particular crystal clear
Well,
wine.
the the white will stain your teeth as well. That's why I started whitening my teeth, because between cigars,
Yeah.
whiskey, and wine, my
You
teeth
are
were looking like
kidding
school
me.
bus.
I
Yeah.
did not know. I did what?
Yeah,
Really?
my hygienist told me that the white wine will do it the same as the red wine. It's something about
Wow.
the yeah, yeah, so
Well,
either way it
you
goes.
just taught me something because I absolutely just assumed it was the red, the red dye or
Mhm.
from the
The
grape.
grapes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, okay. That's good to know. Now that I
Yeah,
know, and you know when you know, you know. You know what I'm saying?
and knowing is half the battle.
Like this. Oh, so my mood today, guys, is suspiciously specific. Does that make sense?
Okay. I'm just like, is that a mood or is that like a
Well, okay, let me explain to you why I have a mood that is
there you go.
suspiciously specific.
Specific.
I'm not accusing, but I'm definitely noticing, okay? I'm cute, but questioning everything. I'm calm, yet observant. See where I'm going with that?
You sound like Alanis Morissette. I'm same, but I'm something. I'm something, but I'm chicken shit. And then,
Huh?
baby.
So, guys, that is a weird one, and I will tell you why I'm in that mood very shortly
Okay.
from the topic of today. But what is your
Yeah.
mood today, K Mac?
My mood's been flip-flopping all day. I've been in this silly, playful mood, but then when I think about today is power plant and bridge day, then I get a little my mood turns into fearfulness. So I've been alternating between the two.
So you're talking about what Trump said? So, okay, here on Mood Swings, we try to stay away from political stories and things like that because everybody's all hyped up. We decided after we did those two, we said, okay, you know what? And we got enough of that shit that's going on every day. Let's try and do other
Oh,
things because I mean, every time I open my Instagram, my
yeah.
Facebook, it's
Yeah.
it's getting shoved down our throat, right?
I hear
Now
you.
I like things
Ooh.
shoved down my throat, but
I was
only a
gonna
certain,
say
right? Just a certain one, certain nutty, buttery, oaky, that type of stuff.
I didn't even
So
swallow my drink
What
yet.
we like to say
God
what we like to say as podcasters, it's all coming out in post, okay? We got
damn.
a
True
hot
that.
15 and we put it out in post. That's what I'm saying.
We really do have like director lingo.
We really trying to
Post
and we've been
hot
making up
15.
director lingo. And when we say it to another podcast, they're like, "Bitch, what?" I'm like, "Yeah, you obviously don't." We're podcasters. We've been podcasters for quite some time. At least what?
Well,
12
once I
months?
get dis yeah, but once I get discovered and start to become rich, then I'm gonna put my money behind some programs and I become an executive producer, and that's
There
what
you
I'm
go.
gonna start doing.
There you go. I executive produce my life right now. Sometimes I think so. I think someone else is producing my life at times because you don't know
Mm,
what the fuck's going on. But
mm.
yeah, I try to. Well, starring me, written by me, produced by me. You know how that goes. I feel like Puppy, minus the baby oil, but everything else, very slippery. Which
Okay,
is,
so
that's
anyway, so
funny.
that's
For my birthday, my husband posted this old video back circa 2021, I believe. We had just
when
moved
y'all
in,
are rapping to each other, that
and he was
video?
rapping his shit to me. He was rapping his ass to me. And then I realized, oh my God, that's Puffy. We probably,
You know what? That's a trip. I saw that. So it's crazy. So we've never talked about this. I wanted to talk to you about that because when Cho's rapping it, so you already know. Okay, when Cho's is in Cho's mode, where he's popping that shit and he has this little arrogance to him, and he's like, "Yeah, bitch." That is the Cho's that I fucking love. That's that old school Cho's that has been suppressed and pushed down
yes, very much so.
due to I blame the Hokas. But when he brings that Chose back out, I'd be like, "You talk that shit, Chose." And he was talking, he was doing all he was like, he had that little look on his face and he was doing all this. And that's my boy right there. Fuck yeah. I
Okay.
love that video. That was
Well,
so fun.
I am so, I'm glad you said that because that kind of is a segue into my story.
Mm,
When you listen to Chose, he is an absolute writer. He is
he's a
an
lyricist.
artist that can allow you to see into his soul. He'll write
Mm,
something that'll make you either feel the same way that he wants you to feel,
hmm
or he will totally opposite of how you want to feel. Either way, whatever direction he is the captain of that ship and he will steer, right? That's a true artist. Well, would you believe it if he were to rap because he's so convincing when he raps? If he wrote about killing someone, I don't know, maybe say me, would you believe it?
Oh my God. No, nor do I want to hear that.
You wouldn't?
Would I believe that he killed you?
Yeah.
I wouldn't, because I know the man behind the lyrics. So, but if someone didn't know him, then probably
He could be very convincing, right?
he's convincing. Yeah.
Because and as you can see, I'm alive and well. I'm breathing right in front of you. You're listening to it, but he's such a great storyteller.
No, bitch, you might be AI. I hate you.
So with that said, because he is so talented, he can become a storyteller and transport you from
Yeah.
one place to the other story. And so of course that's when I started doing my rabbit hole dive into. Unfortunately, I've come across quite a lot of stories of artists who either make up stories that are so telling and so close to a real crime that it can get themselves into trouble, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, so I'm gonna actually tell you a real crime, and he actually
Okay.
writes about it himself. I don't know if you're familiar with a gentleman by the name of Robert Camus, Camou. Okay, so
No.
he's a non-POC aspiring rapper based in Arizona, and he has a girlfriend. Her name is Amanda Custer. The two were in a relationship, and from the outside it looked normal, but behind the scenes, it was reportedly very toxic and volatile.
Mm,
Okay,
that's too bad.
now I'm gonna go over a couple of other scenarios, and it doesn't have to be about an actual relationship. It's just about the crime that occurred and the lyrics to which really fit that crime that turned into a court case. So Amanda Custer was found shot to death in her apartment
Aye.
in
Aye,
2021.
aye, aye.
Okay, let me just get right to it. Okay, she had been shot multiple times, and investigators quickly focused on Camus. Why? Well, first of all, he was a boyfriend, and you always go to the lover, or someone in the relationship.
Yeah,
If
sure.
I end up dead, girl, you know who to go to. I'm just saying.
Same. Same.
Right, right. Okay.
Same all day.
So, and then he was one of the last people that was connected to her, and their relationship had tension and conflict. What made this case go crazy? Well, after Amanda's death, Cameron recorded and uploaded a rap song onto YouTube. And this is what changed everything. Why the song mattered? Well, the investigators noticed that the lyrics described a violent confrontation, a shooting, emotional details tied to the act, and the timing was that they released it after the murder. Prosecutor, the prosecutors
Hmm.
are shit, Jen, get the word out. The prosecutors are
You said
bitch.
it, prosecutor, right? Prosecutor.
First of all, if I know you ain't trying to tell me how to spell pronounce that word. Okay, Miss Lispy the Lisper.
Shut up.
Prosecutors argued that this wasn't storytelling and this was him revealing what he did. So
Well,
the
what are
I know, girl. So when I watched the video, the guy was all, "Yeah, I'll kill my girlfriend. I'll bury her in the desert." Did you see all the niggas behind the mic? The song wasn't a clean "I did" a statement, of course, but it allegedly included references to pulling a trigger, of rage and conflict with a woman, details that mirrored the actual crime, and that's what made it powerful in court, and it lined up too closely with
oh
reality.
shit.
I know. So now, again, we have an imagination. We can write a story and again, like bring you from here into outer space. And it sounds like this is what, majority of our artists are trying to do. But sometimes it's really easy to sing a song about reality or something that happened. You don't even have to make anything up because it happened, right? So,
But the flip side of that, though, Jay, is that if you are an artist and you're a storyteller and you've gone through something traumatic and you're grieving, it's just, how is that any different than when Taylor Swift, they always talk about how Taylor Swift puts all her bad relationships into a song, right? But
yeah.
how do we know that this guy isn't traumatized from his girlfriend or significant other being killed? And so he's like, I'm going to rap about what I feel like could have happened. You know what I mean? How do we know this is really a confession?
Well, you have a point. To me, I wouldn't put myself as that person who was the murderer
I
in
hear
the
that,
song.
but
You
it
know
can
what I'm
still
saying?
remember. But listen, remember Stan? The tea's gone cold. I'm wondering why. Remember Stan? And
Yeah.
that shit was like a journey. Like you went on that whole journey with Stan and where he
Yeah.
put the dude in the trunk or the whole thing. But
Mhm.
Eminem never did any shit like that. He just told a creative story from a crazy fan's point of view.
Think how you know,
I don't know, but
right?
I'm like, maybe this guy, Custard, what's his name?
Mhm.
maybe Camou was kind of mimicking that same type of storytelling. I don't know. I feel like it's too close. I feel like it's now, was it in bad taste? Absolutely. Your significant other was just killed and you put out a song saying about a confrontation and a fight. But I also feel like, people that have dealt with grief,
Deal
that
with it
might be their
differently,
outlet.
and I
Yeah.
totally get that. But again, so I'm gonna speak to a couple of other ones, but I'm gonna after this one, I'll go ahead and tie this one to one of the most current cases that had just hit our media within the last year. That singer David
Oh, yeah.
D4VD, right?
Yeah.
Weird. So
Yeah.
and his girlfriend's the 14-year-old Celeste. So that's why I want to kind of tie that in because look at that situation, right? So, well, let me just tell you what the case against him was. So, the prosecution built the case around physical and circumstantial evidence, his connection to Amanda, and his behavior after the crime. And
Mm.
the song has psychological evidence, and they use it to show mindset, admission, submission style language, and lack of remorse,
Psychological evidence. I've never heard that before.
right? And now this makes me think because this happened a couple years back, did they use it the same tactics to prosecute David, right?
Mm.
So, well, the verdict was in. He was convicted of a first-degree murder. The song
Mm.
became one of the most talked about parts of the case. And why the story hit so hard? Well, it's art versus reality.
Mhm.
This is one of the clearest examples of where it's just music turned into it might be evidence. So
Mm.
this is happening again. I have other scenarios, and it has nothing to do with relationships. It's just true murder that may have occurred, right? Um, I know, and it's so crazy. And I just don't understand. You can rap and sing about anything else, but if you committed a crime, sing about something other than that. You know what I'm saying? Say,
It's reminiscent to, I didn't kill my wife, but if I did, this is how I would do it.
that's what I'm saying. So the relationship dynamics is domestic tension, emotional escalation, and a deadly outcome. She ended up
Mhm.
dead. Now, I'm not even sure what, they don't dive deeply into their actual relationship. I'm sure the case does, but I'm only
Mhm.
doing high level because it's just very intriguing to me. Guilt that had you write it as a
Mm.
actual confession because you feel sometimes I watch so much CSI and SVU and all that, and I know that just having to be able to confess it to someone because the guilt is eating at you at all time. Now, to everyone on an album, crazy. Could have just told it to your best friend, but he decided to put it on wax. Okay. So I know. Self snitching culture. Let's talk about that.
Mm.
This case gets brought up on a lot of conversations about rappers incriminating themselves, oversharing in music, and ego and storytelling crossing into
Mhm.
reality. Now, again,
Okay.
like we're listening to NWA. Now he said, "I'll pop that nigga in a court and put him in the trunk," but he really didn't because that's what we just in that particular um, realm of rap, gangster rap. We talk about murking people all
Yeah.
the time, ravaging
Biggie, your daughter's
property.
tied up in a Brooklyn basement. Yeah. Face it, not guilty. Yeah.
There you go. And so that's where again, there's a fine line between creativity and entertainment and actual real crime. So, so this wasn't a mystery because he may have told the story himself because what you just see right here, it just came out into play in the whole song. So, if you guys are interested in hearing the song, let me get the name of
I
it.
wanna know the lyrics. I mean, do you have just, like, a little bit, like a snippet of the lyrics that they used to convict him with? I'm just like, what are the lyrics? Like, what did he say in this song that they were able to use it? And how is that? I have so many questions about that. I have so many moral. I don't know. I don't know if I'm hook, line, and sinker on that though yet.
Now, what's crazy is that the lyrics got to be somewhere, right, for them to get it, but they said that they weren't officially published in full by the court or widely released in the verified transcripts. So there's no reliable word for word public record of the exact lyrics. And that's what's crazy too, though. If we are in the court of public opinion, we need to see those
Yeah.
lyrics so that we can kind of, see
Okay. Well,
what are
then
we
that
doing.
tells me then they had more than just lyrics. Because if they didn't go off of just lyrics, they had actual physical hard evidence. Because if they're not going off of just lyrics.
But what's funny is it says that the song was mainly what they used to prosecute him. Yet they haven't.
That's crazy.
Right.
Like, what is
And
that?
everything should be public knowledge once it goes to the court, right? Unless they seal it. He's older. He's an adult.
I just feel like that is such a slippery slope when we're using creative expression as a way to charge somebody with some sort of criminal activity.
Mhm.
Now, I know murder is one thing, but that's just like, what's that song that came out a couple of years ago? The girl's talking about she's in the back of the cab and she's sniffing coke. All her friends are in there sniffing coke, and she has an English accent.
AY,
How's that?
AYE.
What's that lyric?
And back in the back, so sipping champagne. Uh,
Right. So, okay, that may have been creative expression. So are they going to go and get her because they're like, oh, you and your friends were in the back snorting coke. Like, we're gonna come pick you up now.
Oh,
I feel
I
like
don't
it's
know, but
such a slippery
I
slope.
absolutely believe Miley when she said, "Everybody in the bathroom in a line to get a line in the bathroom." I believe it because she's
Miley, isn't
I
that
well, she's Miley. Plus, she's rapping or singing about the environment that she's in, about partying and going on, and
mhm.
we all know what that's about. So she's not naming names; she's just saying things that usually go on during those types of events, right?
Okay, so why couldn't someone come and knock down her door and been like, "You were involved in doing some coke in the bathroom, and coke is illegal. We're gonna arrest you now." I just feel like it's such a slippery slope between creative expression
Yeah.
and, you know what I mean? And
No,
just like Biggie, your daughter's tied up in a Brooklyn basement.
I believe him.
No, the fuck she's not.
I said
I'm rapping a song,
I
you
said, "Face
know?
it, not guilty." You know what I'm saying? That's what I say.
Richer than rich until these bitches come and get me. Biggie, biggie,
So,
biggie.
well, it
Yeah.
tells me it says why you're not seeing the exact lyrics. They said there are a few reasons. It says the court records do not always release full media content, and the song itself wasn't widely distributed because he was a wood rapper. Let's just say that he wasn't a real rapper. He was a rapper who was probably selling CDs out his trunk. It wasn't widely, distributed that way. So it's something that we couldn't look up because he wasn't a famous rapper. I didn't know anything. Do you know who a Robert Camou is?
No.
Exactly. But now we do. Look at this. He has made himself famous because of what he's done. Now he's serving life in jail. But, so instead of quoting fake lines, prosecutors didn't need a direct confession because the lyrics told a story that sounded way too familiar. Robert was one of the clearest modern examples of someone essentially narrating a crime in music. Okay, the crime was murder of his ex-girlfriend in 2021. What happened after the killing? He recorded and uploaded a rap song to YouTube. The song allegedly described details that closely matched the crime scene, timing, method, and emotional state. The
But I'm like,
impact.
who would be dumb enough to do that though, Jay? Like,
Robert Campbell.
who would be fucking dumb enough to kill someone and then write a whole song about it? That's like, it's
Robert
crazy to
Campbell.
me.
Tay-K. Okay, Tay-K. Listen to this. 2016. The murder during a home invasion in Texas in 2016. The song was called The Race. You can look that one up. Tay-K literally recorded the song while on the run from the police. And the lyrics were bragging about evading law enforcement, referencing violent acts tied to the case. And so the impact was, while the song itself wasn't a full confession, the prosecutors used it to show consciousness of guilt and lack of remorse. The outcome, he was convicted of murder and sentenced to decades in prison. I'm just saying, well, what do we always say? Freedom of speech, right? But you are not
Yeah.
freedom of consequences. So, and then do we have freedom of artistic liability from that? I'm not sure. This was more of a taunting the system case more than a pure confession, but it's still heavily tied to real events. So that's what happened. Now,
Okay.
I'm not sure if you're familiar with a guy named Ronnie O'Neal. I'm not.
No.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
Well, this is a lesser known musically, but extremely disturbing because the crime was a murder of his girlfriend and daughter in Florida
God
in
damn.
2018.
What?
Man, so O'Neill had recorded rap style audio and social media content where he made violent and erratic statements. The courtroom twist says he later represented himself and behaved theatrically, even singing and ranting in the court. Well, we already know this nigga went to jail or might be on some kind of 150 hole. The impact was his own recorded content and behavior reinforced the prosecution's narrative of intent and instability. And the outcome, convicted and sentenced to death.
Well, if he killed his wife and his daughter, I mean, but god damn. And it was all they caught him because of his lyrics.
Because of his lyrics. Mac Phipps, Phipps. Mac Phipps.
Are
Well,
these what are these black rappers?
Oh,
I'm just curious.
well, yes, but Robert is not. I said he was a non-POC. And that's why I say he
Robert
was. So what
Camo or
caught my
whatever.
attention is he's the only non-rap looking guy rapping, and a bunch of niggas behind him. And then when he says that, then all of a sudden it's a thing. Do
It's
it.
like it's like that meme on social media where the girl is the backup singer for Tupac on the Get Money, where he's like, fuck, something, my phone, make sure I
Fuck
don't know
it,
your
fuck
keys,
it,
bro.
fuck it, die,
Yeah,
fucking die slow, bitch, girl.
right. And she's like,
We gotta
Get
get the fuck out of
Money.
here.
Like, yeah, like, get the fuck out of
She's like,
here.
you gotta go to and you and Tasha.
That's Bone Tyson Harmony, stupid. That's hella funny. Tasha.
So, right, let me finish telling you about Mac, okay?
Okay.
But this one flips the narrative. The lyrics used against someone who may not have been guilty. So, the
Mm.
crime was a murder of a 19-year-old in Louisiana in 2000, and the lyrics reference shootings and violence. The issue is the prosecutors used the rap lyrics to portray him as a violent person capable of the crime. The impact? Lyrics were treated as character evidence, not a confession, but still influential. Okay?
Mm.
So the outcome,
Hmm.
he was convicted. He was later released after serving 21 years with the evidence unraveled. Bitch.
Unraveled showing that he wasn't the killer. That's what I'm saying.
And
That's why I'm saying this is
he goes this,
dangerous.
and I was rapping about it all the time. But I bet you anything. What kind of lyrics does he rap about now? I bet you ain't about killing and murder. I
It's about
bet you
Jesus.
ain't about killing and murder.
But that's what I'm saying. This is so dangerous. As Jennifer, you and I are both people that are creative. No, we don't rap, but we are creative
Well,
people and we
well,
use our creativity. What?
well. I mean,
I don't
I go
rap.
my own. You know what I'm saying? I go my
I
own.
don't rap, but I'm just saying, but we use our creativity to express what's going on in our lives. Like,
Yes.
when I was like sculpting shit, I sculpted black women with head wraps that look like me. And you know what I mean? Like, you are using what you know in your environment to put out creative things into the world, right?
Yes.
So I feel like if you are in an environment that is violent, unfortunately, you rap about violence. If you're in an environment where you're selling dope, you're rapping about selling dope. You're rapping about being a product of your environment and what you see. And I feel like for all whatever your creative expression is. You're going off of what's in your environment. And you could be simply just talking about what you see in your day to day environment. It does not make you a guilty person. I don't like that. I feel like that's a slippery slope.
Well, why I say this? The prosecutors did not grow up in that environment. So what
Yeah.
they're hearing is, and they see the
Sounds like
visual
real
of violence,
violence.
it's kind of like a stereotype, right?
I don't
Right?
like it.
Yeah. So
I,
I don't like it either. But well, I don't like. Well, first of all, I don't like rap like that in the first place. So it's such a visual in your head that you can actually see like violence in your head. We turn on the TV and you see that through the minds of producers and directors as well. But do they go to jail?
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Because it's
No.
creative. Who is saying, like, you know, you could watch the scariest, most disturbing movie ever, right?
Hmm.
There's still a human mind that made that up. There's a human mind that brought that. I'm talking about before AI. There's a
Yeah.
human mind that created this and thought about it. I actually heard a story on TMZ or something like that. And there was like a bunch of Hollywood directors. I don't know who they are. I can't even quote their names. But they were having lunch and they were talking about the plot of this new movie that they were producing. And it was a horror film. And they were talking about really horrible things happening in this movie. So much so that someone that was listening a table down ended up calling the authorities. And they came to this restaurant where these directors were talking and was like, what the fuck's going on? And the directors have to tell them, we are producing a movie. So the point I'm making is that this creative output, and it could be the most disturbing shit you've ever heard in your life. It doesn't mean that it's not an expression of guilt. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean that it is a confession of guilt.
So if there was a crazy person talking about his whole plan to murder his ex-girlfriend and his
Hmm.
family, and someone calls police, all he has to say is, "Oh no, I'm writing a story. I'm writing a book."
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go.
I'm not saying that that's not the case every time, but I'm saying that it is a slippery slope. And I think there needs to be some sort of safeguards in place if we're going to start prosecuting people off of creative expression.
True.
I just think there needs to be something. If I'm cosplaying as a dope selling bad bitch, but I know I'm a PTA mom, you know what I mean? Like I should be free to have that creative expression and not have it used against me because
In the
you didn't
corner
like
well.
these lyrics and they scared you and you feel like I could really be doing some shit like that.
Okay, well then let's not talk court, but let's talk court of public opinion.
Hmm.
Again, back to the book. I didn't kill her, but if I were to, here are all the
This is
things
how
I
I
was
do
gonna
it.
do it with, and here's all the details.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
Well, in this
Is that
case, let me give some
artistic?
context to our listeners.
Yeah.
So, way back in the day, I'm talking 90s, right? When right after the whole thing happened with OJ and Nicole, OJ came out with a book, but it was canned before it was ever able to really reach uh public. But he came out with a book, or it was either a book or a movie. I can't remember. Do you remember what it was?
It was a
Book
book.
or movie? Okay. And he titled it I didn't kill my wife, but if I did, this is how I would do it. And it was supposed to be
I
like
mean,
a
exactly what I missed.
fiction, right? It was supposed to be like a fiction kind of like his thoughts of how Nicole died. We were young at the time, but we knew enough to know that that was absolutely ridiculous. Why would he do that? Why would he come out with that? Now, I think in a situation, I think to us, the public opinion, we all thought, OJ, are you crazy? Do not come out with that. That is basically going to be a confession. But I think that OJ was thinking in his mind along the lines that I'm probably thinking along right now. Like, just because I say something creatively doesn't mean that I actually killed my wife. Now, can I say something about a story that I heard that made national news just a couple of weeks ago? Do you remember the rapper Afro Man? Because I got high. Remember?
Yes,
I was gonna
that's
because I got
that's
high.
a good story. Go ahead and
Yeah.
say that one. Yeah.
So that guy, Afro Man, so the police came and they raided his home, right? They raided his home and somehow they got some tip that he was involved in some sort of illegal activity. I think it was selling drugs. They
Hmm.
came, they raided his house, and there was one particular police officer there. So Afro Man's mom had made a lemon pound cake, and he had it in a little cake saucer on his counter. And you see footage of when they came and raided the house. There was one particular officer, gun drawn, and he kept looking at the cake. He was like looking at the cake, like, damn, that looks hella good. You see him physically doing a double take. So after
The
it was all
cop.
done, say it again, the cop. So
Hmm.
after it was all said and done, the police didn't find any evidence of drugs. Nothing happened. They basically just left his house and was like, hey, man, sorry. But they ransacked it. It was a mess. His children were there. They were traumatized. It was a lot of damage done, right? So Afro Man was pissed about this. And he used his creative outlet and wrote a series of songs talking about this police officer, well, this police department as a whole. But particularly, he talked about this one officer that kept looking at the pound cake and he started referring to him as Lemon Pound Cake, Officer Lemon Pound Cake. And if there was him and there was one other officer, which I can't remember the name of the officer now,
White
but
female,
there were,
right?
say it again?
Who couldn't run that?
No, I don't know about her, but there was these two white men that were the main catalysts that he talked about in these songs. And these police officers got butthurt and sued Afro Man for it. Sued him and was like, "You can't you're it's defamation of our character because you're calling me lemon pound cake." And as a result, all my friends at the precinct are bringing me lemon pound cakes and I don't like it. It's hurting my feelings. And you shouldn't have said this about me. And obviously there was some sort of drug activity going into your home because we wouldn't have came there. So he says all this stuff, but the one damning lyric that was in that is that Afro Man talks about sleeping with Officer Pound Cake's wife.
Maybe that's her who's crying then. Okay.
Oh, okay. So he talks about this in particular, how he slept with his wife. And that's really what these fake charges were about. Like they brought him up on these bogus charges because Afro Man slept with the wife and Lemon Pound Cake did not like that shit. So basically, he had to go through a whole ass trial with a judge
Hmm.
and jury and the whole nine because these police officers didn't like his lyrics about saying, calling me Officer Pound Cake and saying that you slept with my wife.
Yeah.
And they got him on a whole defamation of character suit, which gladly to say, he won the suit.
Exactly. Yes.
So it says here a jury sided with rapper Afro Man in March of 2026 rejecting a lawsuit from Ohio sheriff deputies who sued him for defamation after he used footage of their 2022 raid on his home in his music video. The deputies claim that the video included lemon pound cake, caused emotional distress, and harassed them. So that was part of it. And also, again, about the wife. So I'm just saying, if we're able to, as a society, start condemning people or start bringing them into court, charging them for charges, doing whatever it is that what we want to do that's going to do some sort of harm to this person, all based off of some lyrics,
Um,
then everyone knows I love trap. That's not a secret. I love me some trap. If that's the case, every song I listen to, come and get the artist because they're all talking about crazy shit in their song.
you know what's funny is that I'm trying to pull up a little more information on David, but for some reason it's like giving me like a block almost, telling me that, hold up, we want to make sure that we're, being as factual. And it says there's no technical situation between David and Celeste. Yes, it is. We were
Is
all
it
there. We were all watching it.
is the trial still going on right now? Is that why they're trying to be very limited on what they're putting out there?
Maybe it may be because there's like, oh, we want to make sure that you have the credibility of your podcast. Of course, I want to make sure to give correct information, which I'm sure you go back a couple episodes. I was just going just false information all over the place. It's what I thought. Sound
Wait,
right?
what do you mean you were giving out false information? No, you weren't. What are you talking about?
Remember I said that kid was dead? Kid,
Oh my God. Never
yeah,
mind. Moving on.
yeah. I said somebody. Oh no, and I said the one of the Chris's from Crisscross. I thought he died of like lupus and
Yes.
shit or something.
Yeah. I do remember that.
Yeah. So I guess I should clear that up, but I don't feel like looking it up and doing it. So we're just gonna move on.
So
Um,
this is what I have. It
okay.
says, as of April 2026, the investigation into the death of 15. I did not know that little girl was 15 years old.
She was 14 at the time.
How old was David?
I think he's like over 18.
My gosh. The death of 15-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez, whose body was found in a Tesla registered to the singer-songwriter David Anthony Burke, is ongoing, with prosecutors pushing for murder charges. While no formal arrests have been made, investigation has considered him a suspect following the discovery of the body in September of 2025. So an arrest hasn't been made yet for the David case.
Well,
It says that
I will let you know that irregardless, he just turned 21, March 28th. So if she was 14, 15 at the time, it still was some weird shit going on that probably shouldn't have been. Maybe she was just a fan. I think they were romantically connected in some way, but
mm,
I'm not exactly sure. So we're gonna put a pin in that one. And for our listeners, we'll go ahead and once the trial goes, we'll do some updates on that particular one. But um, there, yeah, as I said, as I've given you so many of these examples, and the very last example that I do want to give you is the one about the rapper, which I want to make sure I get his initials right. Anyways, his name is YNW Melly.
YN.
YNW Melly. Like
What songs
young
do you
nigga,
sing?
what? Melly, I guess. I don't know. And so he was the one who has the song Murder on My Mind. I thought we already talked about this a little bit.
How's the song go? Murder on My Mind. How's it go?
A
Alexa,
murder
play
on
Murder on My
my
Mind by YNW Melly.
Murder on My Mind by N.W. Melly on Amazon Music.
Okay, so
Now,
the
I think
song,
this is the one that was. Remember, kept watching. He's super cute. That we keep seeing pictures of these two rappers that are going through a court, and like crazy shit's happening when they bring them up to do, their cross examinations, and like things are not working out. And I believe that ended up being a mistrial. So, the song's called "Murder on My Mind," which you just said. The song describes the shooting in detail, though it was recorded before the
that
alleged
guy?
murders. That dude right there. Yeah, that's him. Exactly. So the prosecutor still pointed to the song to suggest mindset and the familiarity with violence. And the status is this case is still ongoing. Mistrial declared as of the latest major update. And this is a key example of the gray area where lyrics are fictional but eerily parallel to real events. So he says, so you're telling me that you wrote this about, I'm about to kill this nigga tomorrow, put him in my trunk. Dump them in the river, take out all the funk. And then all of a sudden, 2 days later, this dude is found in the river because he was in a trunk and got murdered. So
Wait, are you serious? Are you just kidding on that part?
no, no. Well,
That's
I
the
don't know
lyric?
how the song goes. I was just actually just making up the
Okay,
lyrics.
okay, okay.
But it says it describes the shooting in detail, though it was recorded before the murders.
Huh, okay. Well,
So,
on this one though, when I just heard these first like 3 bars, he's talking about how he was locked up in Christmas, he didn't get to see his niggas, he didn't get to hug his mama, but I don't hear any confession of murder, but then again, I only heard like 3 bars, so
right, yeah, I mean, we didn't hear the whole thing. If we were to break down the lyrics, obviously we kind of probably see things like that. But all I know is that I write. I'm a songwriter. I write songs.
Mhm.
I write songs for my daughter. I write songs, and
Summer is
mainly
over, memories fading. I'm
faded.
also a songwriter.
Okay, well, everyone each his own
Wait, what's the name of the
imagination.
song?
So, but do you
Wait,
remember I
wait,
said
what's the name of the song? This why the lyrics that
"Murder on
what's
My
that
Mind"?
song? Murder on My Mind. Okay.
Yeah. You remember the song I wrote where I said, "Ain't no waiting in line because we're VIP." Made my way back to the bar because they know what I like to drink. Just getting comfortable. Song comes on, I'm out my seat. Girls is on tonight. Yeah, we're doing right. Grab my stilettos. Jumped
Mhm.
into the SUV. My girl Kendra rocking the pink fur over her baby teeth. Come on
Yes.
now. We already know.
Yes.
Now if I said, so I mean, that's what had me just going around in circles and maybe really, really interested in seeing what's going on with the most current one that I was following up on, which is again the Robert Camou one. He
Mhm.
got convicted. Obviously, something or could have been like the last case that I talked about, where after 21 years serving, it must have been through appeals because after 21 years, you're still looking at the case. The case has already been settled, right?
Right.
So
Right.
he obviously was still fighting to prove that he was innocent. But again, is it just a very unfortunate lesson to learn about in America what our freedom of speech really means? Does it really mean freedom of speech, not a freedom of your consequences?
It's scary. It's scary. I mean,
Yeah. So
anybody could say anything.
that was where I was just going with this particular one. I leave it to the audience. I want to hear what you guys say and what you guys think about that. Do you feel that artists that creates music in that manner can imitate life, but could just be creative imagination, or it could actually really truly be a confession? We really don't know, right? I guess we leave
Don't
it to
know.
the books. Well, that was a good one for me, okay, Mac. But I did want to
That was
also,
a good one.
since I am shouting out our listeners, Kay, I want to tell you that I just got a message from Cheryl. If you
Oh,
remember.
okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So Cheryl, and she just said, she wished me happy birthday and then that she listens to every single episode and she absolutely loves it.
Oh,
How
that's
cool is that, right? She says, I love your podcast. I listen to all of them.
love
So I
it.
want to give you a shout out. Cheryl, yay, I did ask for your screen name so that I can give you an actual official welcome to the swing
Yes.
set.
Listener to the swing set. Listener of the week is Cheryl. Yes.
Yay, Cheryl, if you are
Thank you, girl. We
listening,
appreciate that.
yes, I am super excited. I love the fact that you are listening. I hope that we aren't disappointing you. If you have any suggestions, please let us know because we definitely want to hear from you guys and we definitely want to keep adding to our swing set.
Swing set.
A lot of sets going on. We set tripping over here. So, K Mac, what did you think of that episode? Wasn't it quite
That was
intriguing?
it was so interesting. I'd never heard of anything like that before. I didn't even know that was a thing. What did you call it? Psychological evidence? That was, yeah, I'm intrigued.
I use psychological evidence on my husband every freaking day.
I just didn't know we were calling it something, but yes, understood. So, yes, that was really good. Thank you for letting me know about that. Interesting.
No,
Always
guys,
teaching me something, girl.
I know we are in a comedy genre. Mood swings, we talk about everything. And you know why? Because we motherfucking can. Because we're 50 years old and we can do what the fuck we want to. So,
I'm not 50. I'm not 50.
what she
Speak
girl,
for yourself, please.
this girl 50, she class of 94. She wanna be in there. So
No, I'm not. I'm class of 95. I'm not 50.
so I really enjoyed having that conversation with you and definitely do some follow up on there. But with
Yeah.
that, I'd like to tell you that I love you, Kay.
Love you, sir.
Cheers.
Clink, clink, clink. I drank all mine.